Hey everybody, Fetty here, and I just built this really cool looking drill press table. I have 2 or 3 projects that involve a lot of repetitive drilling, and I wanted something that I could set up with a fence and a stop so that I could lay my piece in, get everything situated, and drill it, put another one in and drill it over and over and over again and get the same results every time. And this table is going to allow me to do that. Now this table is 19 inches deep and 25.5 inches wide. It's made out of cabinet grade plywood, 3/4 inch, and there's 2 of them laminated together, so this table is about 1.5 inches thick. It's edge banded all the way around with a piece of 1x pine just to pretty it up and make it look classy. I'm using the Kreg Mini Track on the top so that the fence can ride along that track. And on the bottom I'm using the Kreg Mini Track as a way to attach this table to the drill press. Now I'm using the Kreg Top Track, starting to sound like a Kreg commercial here, but I really like their stuff, they make good stuff. But I'm using the Kreg Top Track so that I can use some of their accessories like this production stock. So with this table, I'm going to be able to lay my piece in, move my fence up, get it situated, set my stop up, lay it in, drill it, lay another one in and drill it. And this table is going to work perfect for what I need. Now I want to show you how I built this, so let's get started. Now the first thing I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to cut out the pieces for the top. I'm using 3/4 inch plywood, and when I went to buy this I wanted something that was going to be straight and flat and smooth, so I bought cabinet grade plywood. Mine happens to be maple, but birch or oak or whatever would work fine. I'm going to cut this 24 inches wide and 17.5 inches deep, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces of it. Now the way that our drill press table attaches to the actual metal table on the drill press is with a piece of this Kreg Mini Track. And I'm going to run 2 runs of this track in our board on the bottom. And what happens is on that drill press table, on the metal table, there are slats that have been milled out. And this track is going to run right over top of those slats, and there'll be a bolt that'll go down through the metal table and secure from the bottom. Now this is the part that you don't want to get this part jacked up or we'll ruin our board. I drew this up in SketchUp and I was feeling really good about the accuracy of my drawing, but just to make sure, what I did was I laid my board and got it situated up on the drill press table, and I went ahead and came from underneath and I scribed out those cutouts. Then I measured off based on my SketchUp model and then marked where the dado is going to be, and I was really close, so I'm feeling really good about that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this through the dado blade, probably make 3 or 4 passes until I get just the right depth on it. Then I'll come back and cut a piece of this track to length to the right size and go ahead and screw it into place. I believe it uses like maybe a number 6 wood screw. So let's go ahead and do that. Now our table is going to be made up of 2 3/4 inch sheets of plywood, so it's 1.5 inches thick. We've already cut out the bottom piece and cut the dados, and it's ready to start putting together. Now on the top piece there's going to be a fence, and I want that fence to run along 2 pieces of that mini track too. So I need to cut out dados in the top, and the way that I've laid that out is I came from the outside edge and I measured in 5.25 inches. So between 5.25 and 6 is where that piece of track is going to run on both sides. And the way that that works out, the space between the track is about 12 inches. So let's go. Okay, now I need to go ahead and start cutting our track to size, and yes, I really am going to cut this on a table saw. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put this track on that bottom piece because I want to lay it up on the drill press. There's a few things I'm trying to decipher on right now. Now instead of just running a screw down the hole in that track and hoping that I hit center on it, I'm going to drill pilot holes, and what I'm going to use is one of these little self-centering drill bits. And the way that works is there's that hole in that track you see. When I lay this bit up in there, well, it'll find the center of that hole, and then when it's spring loaded, when I bear down on it, well, it'll pull back and that bit will come out, kind of like a dog running his dick out. Just don't touch the pink part. Now, you'll see how it works in a minute, but that's what's going to happen right there. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this track so that I can lay it up on the drill press and work out some other things. So now you can see how it's going to work. That bolt will ride right here in that track and run through the metal table on the drill press, and I'll put a knob here on the bottom to kind of cinch it up with. Okay, so now we're getting down to some of the details. I've laid our table up here, and it's not been assembled in its final form. I just have it mocked up. But I laid it up here, made sure that I had the right amount of overhang on the front, and that each side of the front is hanging over the same amount. I got each end of the sides hanging over the same amount. I found dead center on this table, and I got the table real good and square. Now what I want to do is have a spoil board, and that way when I'm drilling, you know, and using this thing a lot and this gets wore out, well, I can pull it out and cut another piece and drop it right back in. This piece is 3.5 by 3.5, and I found dead center on this piece. And I pulled the chuck down and just held it in place with the bit. Then what I did was I took a square and laid it up here and squared this piece up. Now I've gone ahead and scribed a line all the way around it, and here in a minute I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. I know this ain't real pretty. I just threw this together real quick so I could put me up a little jig so that I could route out the hole for this spoil board. So let me go ahead and do that. Pretty nice. Now then, I'm just going to glue this top and bottom together. Okay, now our fence is going to be made by using 2 strips of plywood that are each 2 1/4 inches tall by 24 inches long. And what we'll end up with is a fence that looks something like this. Now I'm going to attach these by using pocket holes and a little bit of glue. So let's go ahead and do that. Now on the backboard of this fence, I'm going to use a piece of this Kreg top rail. And it goes on there just like that. And the reason I want to use it is because I want to use some of those accessories that Kreg makes, like their production stop. And this rail is, you know, kind of how you attach all that stuff. Now to put it on, I'm going to have to drill holes in the back of this track. And you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a little seam that runs right down through there. And that kind of serves as a drill guide. And you attach this thing with wood screws So I need to drill a whole bunch of 1/8" holes, and I'll space them out to where it, makes sense. But I'm going to drill some pilot holes, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this. So now I'm going to put our fence together. I'm going to put a little glue on it. I think I put a little bit too much in there. That'll be all right. There's our fence. So now I'm going to drill a couple of 1/4" holes in the bottom of this fence so that that bolt that rides in that track underneath can come up through, and I can put a knob on it. Now I was real careful to lay out my drill marks so that it lines up perfectly with that track. So let's go ahead and drill that. Hey everybody, Fetty here. Hey everybody, Fetty here. Used to set up my workflow. So it's made out of cabinet grade plywood. Are you kidding me? It's for this fence and when I went to buy 2 pieces of that mini track too. That top piece, it's good to go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pilot hole the spring loaded that thing there. Now the first thing I'm going to do to get started is get started. I can't get started.